tournament already.
Yeah, I suppose that sort of thing happens though. I think South Korea can definitely go far in this tournament, but at the same time, I don't think Taiwan has a bad team. They definitely have a strong team, so I think they still have a chance to at least make it a bit further than round of 16.
Yeah, it is still not as crazy as it could be in the grand finals, for example, but it's going to slightly or slowly but surely going towards a rather crazy and hard map pool. But for now, it's still pretty standard, so we can still expect a few Cs, quite a lot of Cs on some maps, but nonetheless, they are going to be far in between and no more SSs, I believe.
Yeah,
Or
it's definitely going to become difficult. But it looks like we're about to get into warm-ups at the start of the match. Would you like to quickly introduce the teams we have up right now?
Alright, currently for the Taiwan side, we do have Raka, Lazy, EFMRT, and RZA, I believe it was. And on the South Korean team, we do see Young, Prey, Inon, and Cheeskai. Interestingly enough, Cheeskai is actually one of the players I do not know. One of the rather new players, I'd say. Or maybe he did play in tournaments, but I don't know him. But the South Korean lineup is looking just full of old veteran players. The Taiwan side, GF MRT is also a newer player, while the other ones are definitely veterans to the OWC. And the warm-ups are gonna be some of my favorite times to really commentate, because you definitely have the advantage or just the freedom to pick whatever map you really want to, and thus you can just go ham. And there's so many ways to choose a warm-up. You can either just have a standard warm-up and play a cool map, or you go and maybe tilt your opponent by picking Big Black. That actually has worked wonders so far. Or you just go full troll and go for like the national Polish anthem.
Always a good idea to go for the anthem, I reckon.
Yeah,
Even just for your own country. I mean, whatever works. But looks like the first warm-up is going to be Secret Desire, Dies Remake. This is a map by Skystar, it seems. Fairly new, actually. It was only uploaded yesterday, so I haven't yet seen this, so I'm quite excited to see what it's about.
Yeah, I also saw it being uploaded, but didn't really have the chance to play it until now. But Vox, you're also playing this tournament, so you've definitely had your fair share of warm-ups so far. Is there any strategy, or how exactly did you guys pick your warm-ups?
When it comes to warm-ups for the Australian team, we don't take them too seriously. At the end of the day, we're there to have fun. It's a good chance to give the new players a chance to, jump in. Ones that might, not play as many songs as the more veteran players who have played in multiple tournaments. And it's also a nice way to just calm the nerves of the more nervous players, I suppose. I find that's the main benefit of a warm-up.
Alright. And hopefully this map is gonna be spicy. I do know there are some unranked spicy versions of this map, but this one being new, we'll just have to see and improvise how this will end up being.
I haven't actually yet seen any maps of this song, but it does sound like a nice song, so I think it could be pretty good.
Alright, yeah, I guess that one version from I think it's some random unknown Japanese map, but it's pretty good. But the song is at least pretty chill. It is original 5 minutes long. I'm not sure if the Skystar version is also 5 minutes long.
It is indeed 5 minutes 49 seconds, so quite a long warm-up.
Alright. Then at least we're in an interesting spot. I'm gonna expect this being, well, knowing the song and knowing Skystar, I probably expect a few spicy streams, something technical-ish. From time to time, we do in the background here in the chorus mostly these. You could map them as sliders right on top of each other, which could really make timing difficult on Score V2 because you actually have to time these slider heads. There are some spicy rhythms in there, definitely to be expected. But who knows how Skystar's interpretation of the song is going to be.
Yeah, well, Skystar maps are always quite popular, so I feel like it will be a map that appeals to the vast majority of players.
Or maybe he just might pull one over us and just go completely ham. And it's like, you guys like my maps? Well, I guess you don't really, or you should not really play the newest map I've just released, because I've been working on it for 1 hour, speed mapping, and here you go. Just because Sky says on it, you guys are probably also all gonna say it's gonna be good.
Always the best way to make a map. Looks like we're getting very close to starting the warm-up though. Shouldn't be too long.
Yeah, it's gonna take just a little while. I believe it is because a player is downloading the map currently, and it's taking quite a bit. That was actually also one of the bigger problems I always had when playing against Asian teams in general. It was mostly actually just China, to be honest, because they are behind the great firewall of the internet. And it always used to be quite a few minutes if you pick a longish warm-up, maybe even with a video you can't really download without, and then suddenly you're in there waiting for a few minutes for a few people to download it, because no one really has the warm-up. It's not part of the map pool, so no one prepared for the warm-up, obviously, by the nature of it, and you just have to end up sometimes waiting.
That is how it is though. At least when it comes to the actual maps, all the players should already have them, so we don't have this problem. But that's okay.
Yeah, usually you should probably also have prepared the standard map pool. So even if you didn't play the map pool, which might end up happening for some players if they don't really care too much and are believing in the first try site read. But having them downloaded definitely is a huge time saver. When having the strict and tight schedule already, it's gonna be just fine. But there we go, the first warm-up is on its way. Taiwan versus South Korea. And it's going to be a Skystar map. What a better way to start off the match.
Now the question is, will we be able to use this map to determine, the strengths of each player? Since I believe, at least star rating wise, this is fairly similar level of the songs in the map pool.
Yeah, but already the sliders looking spicy, some accelerating streams, some really high angles and sharp angles between the triple. As you can see, it's going to be spicy.
It's already, it looks like quite a challenging map, and we've already seen a fair few misses from the South Korean team especially, and one on the Taiwanese team as well. I'm sure we'll see many more as the map progresses.
Yeah,
looks like Cheese is having a lot of trouble. Looks like he almost gave up there.
Yeah, I think he just stopped playing. Maybe he was checking out whether his tablet was working, is functional, or maybe he just... Who knows, maybe he was just scratching his arm because he's like, it's gonna be warm up. Gotta get that itch out of the way.
I mean, we've already got drops from every single player except Koala's. Mostly slider breaks actually, not too much of a surprise. It's quite a slider heavy map.
Yeah, so far it pretty much looks like huge slide velocities, a bit of spice here and there, but that slide velocity might even get more spicy. Yeah, it actually does get in the chorus. That was the slider timing I was talking about beforehand. And Skystar definitely is interpreting this map a little bit more literal than I had expected.
Lots of overlapping sliders, lots of complicated movement, but Koala's, he's still holding on. Lots of missed slider ends, of course, but he is still holding combo, and that's what really matters. In saying that though, a fair few players are starting to get their combo back up.
Yeah, the map seems to be jumping from a style which is, for example, akin to Notch Heaven. Really high slider velocity, huge slider speeds, and easy to miss sliders. Really, with some spicy overlaps, so you can't necessarily read them perfectly. And then a really calm style. I mean, even if the song right now is calm, the sliders are still going ham.
A Gotta say though, if you take a look at Yeong's accuracy, 99.54, that is absolutely huge compared to all the other players. The second highest only being 97 or 98% now. It's way below.
Yeah, and if you just compare the score between Yeong and Core Lazy, who currently still has an FC, that accuracy difference is almost making up the combo difference.
We can see a lot more difficult sliders here as we get through about the halfway point of the song. Koalas is still holding his combo. Yeong not too far behind with just over 1,000 now. All the other players seem to have a bit more trouble with the map. Although, just as I've said that, Yeong's also got a combo.
Yeah, if you did not play this mob beforehand, then you're in for a ride. This is not a map you can easily side read.
Yeah, we can definitely see it's getting difficult here with Lazy actually missing a couple of times. Not too surprising with the sort of difficulty, especially with reading at this point. Lots of overlapping sliders.
And this path should probably be the most intense one, but it's not just as the other ones, because when literally your, I guess, almost calm paths are as intense as they are here, you can't really go too ballistic on some of the more intense parts. Would make it slightly unplayable for most players.
We can see though, all players have been dropping combo just like crazy in this later part of the map. Although the score is remaining quite close between the two teams. I feel like that accuracy on the South Korean side is really paying off.
It seems to be GFMRT is slightly struggling with the map. Where Kai was able to catch up, even though he stopped playing for a few seconds.
Looks like the map's really getting a bit wild now as we reach the last portion of the map. Although it does look like I don't think South Korea is going to be able to make up the score difference at this point. Though of course it is just the warm-up, so no points lost here.
Yeah, I mean GFMRT is pretty much one of the lower ranked players in the Taiwan team. I think he might even be the lowest ranked player. Maybe Taiwan is just putting him in there for the warm-up currently. Technical maps or like really slider heavy maps might not be his forte, but it's just a warm-up, so everyone is just gonna hopefully have fun.
It's always nice to give your newer players a shot in the warm-ups while they can, where there's a bit less stress on the players.
Is that going to be a almost full swap for the Taiwan roster? 3 players leaving?
Giving all their other players a chance. Oh, even Rucker left. So that was the Taiwanese pick, warm-up rather. So we should be moving on to the South Korean warm-up very shortly.
And it's going to be Orihi crossing field C8763 remix difficulty Starburst stream. Not necessarily a map I know.
No, I can't say I've heard it either.
Sounds a bit spicy, but a little bit more normal than the previous one. But who knows, maybe Handsome mapped it and it's gonna be spicy as hell. So you can never expect anything.
It was actually mapped by Flask. So South Korean pick of a Taiwanese mapper. This could be interesting.
Maybe it's just sending a statement. But perhaps Flask. Yeah, Flask actually does have some maps, I believe.
Oh wait, sorry. Let me correct myself. This is actually the Taiwanese pick. The previous one was the South Korean pick.
Alright.
That makes a bit more sense.
Definitely. But nonetheless, Flask trying to get some exposure towards his own maps. Oh, and it's obviously going to be a sorted online background. Oh yeah, well, the name is called Crossing Field, right? So it is to be expected to be a remix of a sorted online song.
This is actually a 6.83 star map, so I think this is going to be quite a step up from the previous pick. At least raw difficulty-wise.
Yeah, it is going to be a step up in terms of star rating alone, but in terms of real difficulty, as in how players are going to perceive it, the song seemed pretty normal, so I'm gonna expect just the spacing to be really high and thus inflate the star rating just a bit, because those fast sliders in the previous map, well, never mind, this one also seems to have fast sliders. Fast sliders are not necessarily included in this star rating, so some aspects are left behind, which make the map really hard to play.
Although at this point it does still seem a fair bit easier than the previous pick. I guess from a technicality standpoint, it's a lot more simple. Although there are a couple of very fast sliders.
Yeah, it is a little bit more in the line of normal maps, but still has some interesting and spicy overlaps and some huge slide velocities.
Though we can see both Flask and Yaeyong are still holding their full combo, keeping the scores fairly even between the two teams.
Oh man.
Whoa! What was that?
I think that was crossing field taken literally. You know, putting crosses over field might not necessarily equate crossing field, but it does equate combo breaks, except for Prey.
Anyway, it looks like we're getting towards the end of this map. We can see the real difficulty spike there, but bit of a weird ending as well.
Jesus Christ.
Gotta have a bit of fun mapping.
Yeah. I think Riser was a really good mapper by Taiwan. I think I've seen a lot of his maps and they're pretty good. Flask is not really a mapper I was aware of, at least. Let's put it that way, and it seems like this might be the reason why.
Yeah, we can definitely see why with that map. But that does bring us to the end of the warm-ups, so we should be getting into the player roles fairly soon to see who bans first and who picks first. So do you have any predictions on what map each team's going to ban?
That's an interesting question. Both teams do definitely have their own advantages and disadvantages. But in terms of banning, I'd say South Korea might want to ban the most spicy maps in the pool, perhaps the hidden, which is approach at 8. I don't think they do have a really solid lineup for that. On the Taiwan side, they do have Rucka, but Young might be able to definitely combat Rucka on the approach at 8 hidden, so it depends on how they're really feeling. The Taiwan side, yeah, that's gonna be a hard one, because on the South Korean side you do have a lot of really good consistency players, like for example Gomo or Pinewhite92 or Young, just really solid players all around and definitely can perform on really diverse map sets. But on the Taiwan side, I'd maybe ban the maps where you can almost have so much carry potential.
So Taiwan did actually win the roll, which means South Korea's banning first. Looks like they're just having a bit of trouble there, deciding what to ban for now. Shouldn't be too long though.
Yeah, I'm also having trouble deciding what they should probably ban. I mean,
it's always a difficult choice. You've got to, account for the other team's plays as well as your own.
Yeah, South Korea is gonna ban approach at 8 hidden. And I know for Taiwan it's gonna be hard because there's so much South Korea can do. I think it's more about not necessarily what South Korea is good and bad at, but rather what Taiwan in essence is bad at.
Well,
And
Taiwan actually banned the other hidden map, which means the entire hidden pool has been knocked out. So I'm going to assume both teams didn't like the hidden maps too much.
yeah, I can get behind that one because the other hidden map definitely requires a bit of practice, being spicy with its overlaps. The Higan Retour, the Approach 8 hidden, is mostly going to be just down to reading and having practice Approach 8 reading on hidden, while the other one it does just require specific just a specific practice for that difficulty, because it is really hard to read if you didn't play it before.
But we got the first pick from the Taiwanese side. We've got Genso no Satellite, which is one of the no mod picks. I'd say one of the easier no mod picks, although it does have the smallest circle size of them all. Mostly smaller jumps, that sort of thing. So I reckon this might be down to whichever team's most consistent, honestly.
Yeah, this one, the satellite map being one of the older maps. It is Approach 9, which is a line, or in the line of being a really standard approach rate back in the days, but nowadays where decimal approach rates have been introduced, it is actually one of the approach rates which is oh no, my bad, it is not gonna be, I think that was the ban. Because it seems like Sumida Gawa Karenka is going to be the pick. I believe Satellite was the ban for the Taiwanese side.
Oh, unusual that Meta actually said the hidden map there. Okay. So we're going for this map actually is a fair few mappings of it, or rather this song.
Yeah, so having that gotten out of the way, this one is at least more standard. Sumida Gawa Karenka is going to be the pick. Just a lot of jumps. Huge spacing, jumps and jumps. I believe South Korea might actually be really favored here.
But I think, of course, a very short map, so just a small mistake can definitely hurt either team. So I reckon this could go either way.
Yeah, but then again, on the South Korean side, you do have Gomo, Prey, and Fire at 92. What's Asia Sim? No, I'm just kidding. Fire at 92 is actually Asia Sim. But Gomo, Prey, and Asia Sim just really good at jump maps. I mean, Gomo's consistency is out of this world. Prey, well, he's one of the players who just pray for the accuracy to hit, but his combo is definitely going to be on point here. One of the few players in the South Korean side who do lack a bit of accuracy but have just really good combo potential. And then Angel Sim, who most people probably already saw some highlights of him just playing jump maps. I believe Neta is probably going to be the weakest link here in South Korea. While on the Taiwan side, it's gonna be just all around standard. Flasker and Rice are definitely gonna perform decently here, and Rucker as well. Koalazy, I'm not too sure. If I remembered correctly, he was more of a hidden player or reading player, or some kind of mod at least.
Well, it looks like we're just about to start right now. The first match of the week, actually. First song of the first match, rather. So best of luck to both teams.
Alright. Sumidagawa Karenka is going to be 178 BPM, which is a speed of the map which is not too fast but not too slow either. It's pretty much the standard lines of maps you can really expect. It's almost the exact same BPM or speed of a map as drum and bass songs, for example. 5.73 stars, which is along the lines of the higher star rating here, showing the difficulty. But this being just jumps might be overrating it just a little bit. I think we can definitely expect around at least 4 Cs.
Although we can already see a miss from the Taiwanese side. Ryza actually missing quite early on. All other players are still holding their combos, of course. But we're only halfway through the song. So there's definitely chances for other players to miss, of course.
Yeah, the nature of O's being pretty harsh, that every single node is going to be a miss potential, and thus might just completely screw over your score.
There we see Neta and Ryza with another miss. So that's going to keep the lead on South Korea's side for now. But there's, again, still chance. They're not too far up, although we are getting through to the final bit of the map. Last couple of jumps, really. And we can still see Rucker's holding an SS, Gomo's holding an SS, which I guess it's to be expected with a heavy jump map.
There's actually gonna be a late miss by Prey, and his accuracy is lacking, his com is also lacking, and it's gonna be the advantage for Taiwan in the last node. 2,000 points.
That's gotta hurt. That really does hurt. To be ahead the entire map and then just right at the end have a couple of misses and just drop your team back. Rucker and Gomo both with double S's, fantastic, but that first point is going to go to Taiwan. Very close. That's got to be one of the closest matches this year, at least. Not the closest, I don't believe, but still, that really does hurt.
Yeah, well, there's nothing really I can say here except there's not a better way to really start off the knockout stage here than with a lead by 2,000 points, coming back right at the last node of the entire map. Not even coming down to spinner because there is none, and thus we do see a solid 1 million exact points from 2 players assessing the map. But man, yeah, Prey being the one player who really likes sacrificing accuracy for combo, which, you know, was fine, until that combo part just didn't really hold up and thus costed his team the game. But then again, Neta also missed, so there's not really anyone to blame here except these players definitely know what they did, and sometimes the execution is not on par with the strategy or the level of idea. You can play a map 20 times in practice and I see them every time, but that one time in the tournament still counts the most. So it doesn't really matter how much often you practice it, but rather how you're feeling in the moment.
So now we actually have the South Korean pick, I believe.
Ooh, and it's going to be one of the more Western maps and songs, at least. Days and Days, Misanthropic, Drunken Loner, a map by Pishifat. Vox, is there anything you know about this map in particular?
I haven't actually played the map. I have had a look at it though. It seems to be quite difficult. Quite a lot of sort of jumping off sliders, that sort of thing, as expected from typical Pishifat maps. Quite a long map as well. I reckon it is probably more favoured towards the South Korean team. I assume that's why they picked it.
Yeah, also Yang coming in because of one key factor in this special little map, which is going to be complete BPM changes all around. I believe the map changes quite frequently from around 180 to 187, and sometimes drops to 177 and then goes up again, so it kind of varies a lot, which by essence, those BPMs, those speeds of a map are not that hard, but when you constantly have to adjust for those speeds, that's gonna be the problem, where you're gonna lose a lot of accuracy because you constantly have to change your timing and adjust to the map. But then, added on top of all those BPM changes, we do have a overall difficulty setting of 9, which means that the hit window for 300s, a perfect node, is going to be ever so slightly low. And OD9 is actually pretty high, because OD10 is pretty much the, I guess, almost maximum you could say without using double time. and so it's pretty close to one of the highest overall difficulties you really see players use.
So it looks like we're getting straight into this map. Again, the second point of the match. Taiwan is up by 1, but this is South Korea's pick.
Yeah, Young coming in, for example, I think is really good, mostly because Young is or formerly known as HHR, or formerly known as My Aim Sucks, or formerly known as a lot of things. But
Plenty of names in its years.
yeah, but you might better be able to remember him as a player and what he does. And what he does is be really good at accuracy. I think he's one of the best players in terms of accuracy in the entire game, really. And just as I say that he's one of the he's actually not holding SS, and Firebird over here is definitely beating him in accuracy, but still this map is far from over.
Though, yeah, as you said, with the constant BPM changes, it definitely makes it hard to keep a decent accuracy, because your timing just goes completely out of whack whenever there's a change. But early into the map, we can still see all the players are holding their combo. No drama so far.
Yeah, there's no curveballs thrown out yet.
But we have our first miss by Koalazi on the Taiwanese team. That's definitely going to give an advantage to the South Korean team for now.
Yeah, the only spicy thing about this map might be the slider velocity, the speed at which sliders are coming at you, being a little bit higher than people might be used to on this kind of speed of a map.
The slider speed does seem to be a bit variable. It goes up and down in speed a bit, which can also throw off the player's timings.
Yeah, the BPM also influences the speed of the sliders itself, so in that case we do see some variance, but then again at the chorus, Fischer-Fat thought, well, let's just pick it up a notch.
I've got to say though, Rucker's accuracy right now, he did just get 100, but he's still... There goes another one. Looks like it's starting to drop a bit.
Prey did miss, but it's gonna be towards the end of the map, while Koalazi did miss in the middle of it. It's going to be slightly close, but Koalazi and Prey do have almost the exact same accuracy, so South Korea still is in quite a... Well, then again, Prey misses again, so it's getting even closer, but it's down to the last few nodes. But the 100,000 points in difference is not going to be enough.
Still a very, very easy win from the South Korean team. 100,000 points is quite a big difference. The early miss from Koalazi definitely hurt there, especially since he only had one miss as well. Unlucky, but the point does go to the South Korean team, evening the score at 1-1 and bringing the pick back down to the Taiwanese team for the next map.
Yeah, it was a solid performance all around by just 3 players of each team getting an FCE, but Flas did miss in the accuracy department just a little bit, while Koalazi and Prey just were matching each other. But Prey did miss a lot later and was able to build a higher combo, and thus is able to get a bit more score for his team. He did miss a few more times in a row, which made it a bit more close than it probably should have been, but nonetheless, it is a win for the South Korean team. Next pick is gonna be by Taiwan. What do you reckon they will pick, Box?
I'm not too sure what they're going to pick, although I am curious if we're going to start seeing some modded picks as well, since we just had 2 of the no-mod picks. Will the teams opt for Hard Rock, Double Time, Free Mod, or just more no mod? It's tough to say.
Well, it seems like they definitely do know what they are gonna be good at, judging by the one win they got from the jumpy map on the no mod. I think modded approach might be pretty difficult. Well, judging by Hidden just being outright almost banned, one being open. And it's gonna be a safe pick still, a no-mod pick, Blue.
Now this is quite an interesting map. really quite like it. It's quite a difficult map, I'd say. They're not too fast, or the map's not too fast. However, it's very tricky, quite complicated movement, very technical. So this is gonna, I reckon bring out the more technical players on each team, see how they go.
Yeah, this one being one of the more technical maps. It is a rather short map compared to the maps we've seen so far. Well, the first one was pretty much the same length, never mind. But this is the Asphyxia version, not necessarily the Nold version, Nold's posthumous. So in that case, it's not as spicy as it might get. But it's still quite spicy. Asphyxia, just throwing some curveballs right in this map. 168 BPM, so rather on the slow side. Not too slow, but still leaning towards the lower side of the speeds. There are a lot of streams in here, so a quick succession of nodes and coupling with a slower spacing might ruin some accuracies. Looking at Upray, but specifically Rucker, for example, is a player to definitely watch out for this map because he actually has a really good score on the other version of this map. With a hidden with just 1/100, so this version definitely being easier should be quite in his favor. But then again, the South Korean lineup is pretty solid on this one. It throws you some curveballs with some hugely spaced nodes from time to time, some streams which are really spaced, and missing on them is pretty easy if you're not aware of your cursor and if you can't react to them quick enough. So in that case, I think that's kind of Taiwan thinking, yeah, I'm gonna expect, or at least hope, the South Korean team is going to miss on those spicy patterns, and our team is just gonna keep calm on them. But then, nonetheless, it's going to be interesting.
I do feel like, a lot of the streams where players are going to miss. I'd be very surprised if we get, more than a couple of full combos on this. And it could just be Taiwan hoping that South Korea haven't practiced this map too much and they don't really know how the streams go. Because I think they could throw them off a little bit and possibly miss a few of them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the...
looks like we are getting ready to get into the song. Again, it is tied 1-1, and this is Taiwan's pick.
Alright, I definitely agree with your sentiment that we're just gonna see a handful of FFCs, not too many. But who knows, this might actually be NFC somewhere between 2 and 6, mostly because of the nature of the map. It's really easy to miss, but if you get those few parts down, it should definitely be NFC.
So we are getting into it now. Fairly slow start to the map, but Rucker with a very early miss, very unexpected. I wouldn't have guessed that would have happened. But it is still way too early in the map for it to have any real influence on the outcome.
Definitely, and for anyone who missed it, Prey did get swapped out by Netta. Also called lazy by Shield.
You can see though, all the players are holding their combo from here on. And accuracy is actually not too bad so far.
Yeah, Flask. Yeah, look at Flask and Yao currently, 99.74%. Would be a shame if something were to happen to it.
That would be absolutely terrible. Looks like we're about to get to the harder part of the map, though the second half of it is definitely a step up from the first. As we can see, very difficult streams, but all the players seem to be hitting them with no trouble at all. Oh, except Netta did actually miss. And also Firebat and Shield also both missing. 3 combos on the Taiwanese side, only 2 on the South Korean side, another miss by Firebat 92.
The Taiwan side currently is performing really well on this one and is slowly going towards the end. There's just one more chorus left for them to miss on, but the damage has been done. I mean, the lead is ever so increasing.
Yeah, we can definitely see here that although Rucker did miss early on, it didn't have much of an effect since he has held his combo since then. his score not too low compared to the other players. And it does look like this point is definitely going to go to the Taiwanese team as we just get through the slow ending. A smart pick there by Taiwan. Almost a 400,000 point lead.
Really solid scores coming out from Velasca and Riser from the Taiwanese side, while on the South Korean side we do see Yang with the 2 100s FC. Pretty good performance. Early miss by Rucker, but nonetheless it's gonna be enough for this one because there were 2 misses on the South Korean side. This is kind of, I'd say, confirming. Probably one of the only weaknesses South Korea might really have, which is the really spicy maps. Because players like Neta are pretty much just all-rounders, which is an advantage but also a disadvantage at the same time. He won't really have extremely the dominating performances, but nonetheless, he's there for any map to really put in. And Firebats or Ancient Sim is known for more of his really high star rating plays and just fast plays on DT rather than really technical ones. While he's still okay on them. In that case, Taiwan definitely was able to pull one over South Korea.
And it looks like we are now getting South Korea's pick, Emotional Blush, one of the double time picks. Not the map I'm actually too familiar with.
Ooh, alright. Actually had a short flashback towards a community tournament where Rucker was still derusting. Rucker is actually pretty okay on speedy maps, but back in the days, or well, not necessarily back in the days, but back some time ago, when Rucker was derusting in a community tournament, his speed was severely lacking. And yeah, that's just one of the things you lose if you don't constantly play. And I remember him struggling quite hard on them, so I'll at least be able to see if he improved until now on those speedy picks, because his technical prowess got a lot better. I mean, his accuracy on those technical maps is just really, really good. So this, I think, is a really good pick by South Korea. I mean, just having those really fast players, Yang and HSM being able to pretty much play any DT map, and Gomon Prey there to just play this. This one isn't too high of a BPM, so even normal players will definitely be able to play them, but Gomon Prey definitely have the speed for this one.
We also have Ran Ikumo into the Taiwanese team. First appearance this match, I believe. It's always nice to see another player come in. Might be a fairly good double time player.
Yeah, definitely might be the double time player coming in for the Taiwan side. Well, this is Emotional Blush, one of the many Toho songs in this pool. And this one is the older map, which is from 2010. And it's 236 BPM, so it's a bit of on the faster side here. And this one, being an old map, is gonna have pretty much everything an old map will have. Symmetry and just standard spacing between each node, sometimes increasing. You can almost see the distance snap between each node being exactly the same spacing from the last one.
And we can see an early miss from the Taiwanese team to make that 2. Yakumo and Shield both having misses, while all of the South Korean team still holding their combo comfortably. It is early into the map, of course, only about a quarter through, but that is going to push the score in the South Korean side's advantage. It does look like Ran Yakumo is having a bit of trouble though, with another miss there.
Seems to be the reading aspect of just the slight increases of spacing suddenly might be a bit too much for Ran Yakumo.
Yep, Prey and Yaong both with misses, and Yakumo with another one. That is actually really going to hurt the South Korean team. Yakumo really having a lot of trouble with this map. Misses all over the place. Rucko, Riser, Gomo, and Firebat still all holding their combos, of course.
Yeah, so far this hasn't really been Prey's best performance I've seen in a match. Now, having the shotgun approach of just spraying with your unstable rate pretty much and trying to go for combo doesn't really work out if you don't get the combo aspect.
Angel Sim with a miss and Yang with another miss, which actually pushes a score way in Taiwan's favor. And this is South Korea's pick. So this is not good for the South Korean team. It's looking like they've actually lost this point. It was in favor of Taiwan, bringing them up to 3-1. Quite a big advantage, especially with Korea being the favorites for this match.
Yeah, this is... that was interesting, to put it in the I guess easiest way to digest the situation. I mean, this definitely should not really have happened. It was unfortunate enough that Prey and Yang just missed at the same time, but then Firebat joins the fray. I mean, well, every single node has a miss potential, but some nodes have a lot of miss potential, leading up to 9 misses for Ancient. I'm gonna say that's gonna be a fluke. Really good by Taiwan that they performed and took advantage of this blunder, I'd say, from South Korea. But that was just one of many maps. Let's see if South Korea can bounce back from just missing a lot on that one. This is gonna be a best of 11, so we do have a lot more maps to come.
Now it's back to Taiwan to pick the 5th map in this match. I wonder if they will go for another, possibly the double time pick. That could have given them a bit of confidence in double time. Hard to tell though.
Yeah, but I don't think they're really going to answer with double time, because we did see not a solid form and performance by the Taiwan side. I'm probably gonna guess they're going back to no mods, or they actually are going for hidden puppet. The one unbanned hidden. I think they definitely are in the position for this one, because puppet is a bit of a risky map, I'd say. Mostly because it requires a lot of practice to remember some of the parts of it, and just really good hidden reading all around. And being in a 3-1 lead, they can definitely go for some risky picks, or maybe that's pretty much all they have. I mean, Taiwanese side might not see too many options to get out of here and take the last 3 points.
Well, if they do manage to take this point, it'll put them in a very strong position, if they're up 3 points from South Korea.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for all the players to get ready and swapped out, we're gonna have to put some more info out that, for example, the banners are out already. So you can buy your favorite team's banner to support the tournament and the prize pool. You get a spicy little looking banner on top of your user page if you buy one. And next to just supporting the OWC and the prize pool, you'll also be, at least publicly announcing that you're supporting a specific team. And you can also buy a lot of banners if you want to. If you, for example, are rooting for the South Korean side, and you've seen their performance, and you're one of these people who aren't really a South Korean fan, but rather just a fan of who's the best, you might just want to be able to change your banner mid-match towards the Taiwanese side and say, well, I was for Taiwan all the way, since the beginning, trust me. But the other way to support the teams, or rather the tournament itself, is also subscribing to the OWC Live channel, because we actually did get partnered, and you can get some spicy little emotes like having pants. I mean, who doesn't want a pair of virtual pants? And you can spam those all you want in the chat.
Yeah, I actually honestly really like the emotes we got. Especially the tier 3 or the $25 sub, but that's a bit of a stretch. Could go for the full Peppy if you want. But looks like we are going to get into the map. Just about to jump in now. And here we go. Pop it.
But the
The
important
hidden
thing with the emotes is that there's O-Salute, and every time there's a big-breasted anime girl in the background, that's something you can definitely spam. O-Salute coupled with pants to show that you are definitely watching the stream for the right reasons.
That's the way.
But yeah, Puppet, what did you want to talk about Puppet? What did you want to say about it?
Oh, I don't think there's too much about this map to say. It's a pretty standard tournament map, I'd say, when it comes to hidden. You know, complicated to read parts of it. I do think, though, with hidden more so than other mod combinations, you definitely need to practice the map beforehand, or you will have a lot of trouble, especially when it comes to more complicated patterns. Ryza actually did have a very early miss. All other players, though, are holding their combos.
Yeah, this map is actually a really modern map, but almost feels like an old one, or is definitely influenced by some of the styles, because you can see those horizontal lines, or just this horizontal and vertical mapping, where you mostly see those nodes either in a 45-degree or a 90-degree angle all the time.
Oh, we have a miss by MRT and Ryza again and Cheese Kai all at the same time. That is going to give South Korea 3 full combos versus Taiwan's 2, and will give them a bit of an advantage. It's still quite early in the map though. Another miss by Cheese Kai. Could swing either way. We will see how it goes.
Yeah, what I wanna mention is that it is a Pro Shade 9, but also 230 BPM.
Oh, Gomo with a miss. Actually, that's giving Taiwan the advantage now. Oh wait, my mistake.
Yeah, Gomo still has his combo, but maybe not for too long, who knows. But this one has quite the density, being a Pro Shade 9 and 230 BPM, showing that some people are definitely feeling uncomfortable on this one. If you look at all the misses you've called out so far. And we're just halfway in. I mean, many more can happen, like the one by GFMRT right after the break.
I gotta say though, Rucker is still holding his double S. It doesn't surprise me, Rucker is a fantastic hidden player. But, I mean, under tournament circumstances, it can be pretty difficult to hold. So quite an impressive play.
Yeah, Gomo and Yang still are holding really good accuracies as well on the South Korean side, trying to combat those Taiwanese performances in general. But the ending does get a bit more spicy because the spacing increases.
MRT with another miss there. I think Taiwan will struggle to come back unless there's a couple of misses on the South Korean side, as we are getting to the last quarter of the map. Oh, but is that Gomo and Prey both missing at the same time?
I think so.
Oh, that really hurts. That really does. That's going to swing the score back towards Taiwan's side.
But it's not over yet. Well, it seems to be, because Cheese Kai also missed once again, and thus the score is going in Taiwan's favor. And it's going towards the end of the map, and Taiwan does not seem to want to miss right now. And they don't.
Ruff is still holding that double S. There is still chance to lose it, but I think he might be able to hold it throughout the rest.
Is he gonna get the 1,050,000 points? No, he's actually gonna get more because there's a spinner in the map.
But that is a double S by Rucker. That's amazing. Look at all the other players. A lot of them struggled quite a lot with accuracy. A couple of single-digit 100 plays, but Rucker's is just a completely other level.
Yeah, that was a beautiful performance by Rucker. I mean, they did say SSs are gonna be unlikely, but then again, on at least most of the maps, but this was not one of the maps I expected an SS to come out.
No, not at all. That's actually going to put Taiwan up 4-1 in this best of 11. So Taiwan only need another 2 points to win. If they get one more, though, they guarantee the tiebreaker at least. So that's definitely putting them in a good position for this match. A lot of pressure on South Korea for their next pick, which is happening right now, actually. They're definitely going to need to think about what they choose.
Fun fact, the only SS in the leaderboard of this map is by Witchku, Polish OWC player. But this was a an SS on the ScoreV2 scoring system, which is a bit different from the solo scoring system you do have when you just play by yourself or in multiplayer if you did not set the lobby to ScoreV2. Which the high difference, or the big difference, is going to be that the max score is 1 million points, 70% of that is combo, 30% of that is accuracy. So the lower the combos, the more important accuracy is going to be. But nonetheless, we're going to see mostly FCs here, so combo is still going to be king. And next to that, there's a bit of a change in terms of gameplay, which is that usually sliders, didn't matter when you hit the slider head, the start of the slider, you still mostly get a 300, a perfect note, even if you mistime the beginning and as long as you follow the slider perfectly. But this time around on ScoreV2, the slider head is going to be vital in terms of just hitting in time. So if you mistime the slider head, no matter how perfect you follow the slider, it's still going to be 100 or 50. And thus, I'd say the SS by Rucker is going to be a lot better than Witch Crew's SS, for example. Because Witch Crew didn't have to account for any of these slider beginnings, while Rucker did.
Not to mention it being in a tournament situation also just makes it that little bit more impressive. But moving on, South Korea's pick is Imprinting by Sakuzio. One of the free mod picks, so I guess we'll see how many players decide to use mods in this song. It can always be a bit of a risk. You could go for more mods for the extra score, but then you do run the risk of, a harder map and higher miss potential. Or you could take the safe route and just use just the minimum required mods, just 2 of them, and hope for the best there.
Yeah, those are the free mod rules. You just need 2 people in your team to pick mods. And that's definitely what we're gonna see at least. Hopefully not a case of overmodding, but on this one, Sakuzio Imprinting, I'm gonna expect a lot more hiddens to come out than hard rocks. Mostly because the circle size of this map is a bit lower, or the circles are a bit smaller than usual maps, and if you put hard rock on it, which decreases circle size even further, that might be more of the border of too risky, perhaps. But, well, just looking at the lineup, we do have a lot of people who can play this one on hidden, and I think hidden being the safer choice is going to be a bit more prevalent here. But next to that, actually Rucker got swapped out. That's interesting.
It could just be Rucker needs a bit of a rest. I mean, he has been playing the entire match so far. He's been doing excellent in terms of performance, and maybe he just wants to, take a bit of a break before it gets to the tail end of the match where he really needs to be playing his best.
I feel like Taiwan has something planned for this one, as a specific lineup or a specific mod combination, perhaps. Maybe they're going with something crazy like 4 times mod. I'm not sure.
Well, have we actually seen Black yet in this match, or is this his first appearance?
I think this is his first appearance, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, he was actually here for the second warm-up match, but he hasn't yet played in any of the actual tournament songs yet.
Yeah, they did swap out their entire lineup.
They must have something planned.
Alright, coming in we do have 3 hiddens and 2 hard rocks from South Korea. I mean, the map itself isn't too hard, it is mostly streams and bursts, as you can see. But following those streams might be a bit hard, well, on hidden if you forget where your cursor is really. And on hard rock, mostly because the circles are pretty small, so just cursor precision is going to be vital.
Although we do have both Yeong and Firebat both with hard rock, and they're both fantastic hard rock players. So I don't think they'll have too much trouble with this. Black missing very early on, and Koalazi as well. Quite painful for the Taiwanese team, giving the advantage to South Korea for now. Still very early on in the map, though. It can definitely go either way.
Young so far has performed phenomenally, so I can see why he might wanna, or why he might be inclined to carry a bit more and feel like wanting to carry a bit more. Hardrock does give a bit of a higher score multiplier, so. But then again, Angel Sim just missed, and that's what I thought would maybe happen, and then Cheese Kai follows.
I think that's actually going to give the slight advantage to the Taiwanese team if they can all hold their combos from here on. Getting through to the final quarter of the map, all players actually holding their combos quite well here. A lot of pressure on the Taiwanese team right now, of course, as they do get into the lead. Just slightly, so if they do miss, it could really hurt them. Although it does actually look like I think Taiwan is going to take this point, unless something terrible goes at the end, happens at the end. But no, there we go. Another point towards Taiwan, bringing their lead up to 5-1 over the South Korean team. Definitely not a lead I expected, although got to say, fantastic performance there by Yaong. His hard rock, 99.3%. Again, Flask and Shield both with full combos, and Gomo, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we do see some wonderful performances by the South Korean side. I mean, especially by Yang here, getting the 7-100s on Hard Rock. Hard Rock doesn't only just decrease the circle size, it also increases the overall difficulty, which means the hit window of getting a perfect node is ever so slightly decreasing. And Young still managed to get one of the best accuracies in the room. I mean, that was just a good performance by him, but the South Korean side does not seem to be feeling too well right now, because Taiwan is just absolutely wrecking them so far.
Yeah. Now it's Taiwan's pick as well. A lot of pressure on the South Korean team. They have to beat Taiwan on the next 4 maps and then the tiebreaker map. So I think they're going to really struggle to do that, because that includes 2 Taiwanese picks.
Seems to be that Angel Sim was playing a bit too much PUBG, and the South Korean lineup just had a lot of misses, a lot of uncharacteristic misses, maybe because of a lack of practice or whatever. But in this case, it is costing them dearly, whatever it is in the background, which is making them not perform as well as it should.
Looks like Taiwan are putting a lot of thought into this pick, though. It's, I'd say, quite an important pick for them. I don't think... I still find it very surprising how big their lead is, but I definitely have to say they deserve it. They've played exceptionally well throughout this entire match so far. And if they can just carry it through to the end, I think it's a well-deserved win.
Yeah, the performances were pretty good from the Taiwanese side. I mean, something I definitely want to mention is that Gomo so far has seed every single map except for one.
There we go. We've got another one of the free mod picks. Get Jinxed. One of the League of Legends map, of course. Again, free mods, so the players can pick what they want.
Yeah, I think this is more in the line of South Korea, really.
Although it was
no, never. It is Taiwan's pick, but I think this is still more in the line of South Korea being able to perform on it, because this one being a rather generic map. And South Korea, well, looking at the players, I definitely say that this is exactly what they want to like to play. But judging by the performances on the previous maps, I'm not so sure anymore.
Well, I guess maybe Taiwan could be doing it as a bit of a risky pick, bringing Rucker back in there. Since they do have a couple of points to play around with, I don't think they're feeling too stressed at the moment. They do have a bit of breathing room.
I'm really unsure how to feel about this one, but I definitely say that Hard Rock might be a bit more common, because the circle size is pretty much standard, everything about this map is standard, and the jumps on Hard Rock are not necessarily going to be too much of a problem, I'd say. But Hidden still is going to be easier to play with, so the team which wants to go more of a safe route is going to pick more Hidden than Hard Rock.
Perhaps we'll see some Hidden Hard Rock just for that extra score boost as well.
Alright, yeah, that might be possible coming from South Korea, who knows. But I don't think they're feeling too confident after the last few maps, so...
No, they would be under a huge amount of pressure. They really need to be careful.
And
But
yeah,
yep.
we're going to see 4
Oh,
hiddens.
just 4 hiddens, which gives neither team a mod advantage. Quite interesting. I would have thought maybe, I guess it's always difficult to pick, but we are getting straight into the map.
Yeah, Taiwan might want the safer win, and South Korea might not want to go too ballistic with the mods.
Yeah, Hard Rock can always be a bit of a risk to pick. Even on the more simple maps, it can always trip you up a little bit.
Alright, a short little map. Standard as it can get here, and this might be the match point, the decider between Taiwan and South Korea. Get jinxed. Hopefully none of these players are gonna get jinxed here.
Of course, we can see they're still all holding combo though. No worry. Never mind, there's Koalazi with the first miss, and Black with the miss as well. 2 misses on the Taiwanese team. That's going to push the score in South Korea's favour. Although we have seen this a couple of times already, and then sometimes South Korea do choke a bit towards the later parts of the map. We're only halfway through, of course. There's plenty of time for either team to make up the score that they need.
But think about it, there's not really a way to choke this really easy part right now, because it's quite calm, and this is pretty much the part where South Korea's always missed on. And this one being perhaps a slow part might give them the edge. They got through the halfway point.
Still plenty of full combos on the South Korean team, still the 2 on the Taiwanese. Quite a big lead, it's just growing and growing on the South Korean side. Although, Netta with a miss, quite unexpected.
Did you call out the Blacksmith, by the way?
They did back when Koalazi missed.
Alright.
Pretty much
I did not notice that one at all.
Oh, but Prey with a miss. But I think it's too late for a comeback here. Unless there's a fail, of course, but I can't see that happening.
Yeah, that's not gonna be a fail, because this is obviously scripted, as Box currently is going to talk from the future and spoil it for everyone.
Always.
No fails here, because we are from the future, and this entire World Cup is scripted.
But Rucker with the only hidden full combo there, actually. Flask, Gomo, and Firebat all with full combos as well. Quite decent accuracy for the most part. But there we go. South Korea are now up to 2 points against Taiwan's 5.
Flask and Rocker getting over 1 million points. Great performances by them, and South Korea at least they seem to be feeling a bit better. Getting a 2nd point. It is 5-2, but the next 4 maps in a row, they have to win for Taiwan to, well, not to win, I guess, for South Korea to just not lose in this case. And just winning 4 maps in a row where you're alternating picks and then getting to the tiebreaker, I'm not necessarily sure that South Korea is going to do this.
They are going to have a lot of difficulty, but I mean, we have seen it happen in the past, and I'm sure South Korea could win this map. But yeah, again, they are going to need to do a lot of work here if they want to win. So South Korea are going to have to think very carefully here. They don't want to pick the wrong map, or else they will be in a bit of trouble.
I'm getting some flashbacks to Poland in the previous years, where you have such a solid lineup on paper, but sometimes somehow the execution just rumbles. It's gonna be interesting though how they're gonna react and what they're gonna pick. They're gonna pick Kimiga. Oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, one of the hard rock picks.
There was missing some spaces, which is why I just did not recognize the map at all. But yeah, it is Kimiga. on the hard rock mid pick, as you mentioned. Is there anything you can say about this map, Box?
Uh, it's a fairly standard hard rock pick, I think, in the early stages of OWC. Nothing too difficult from what I've seen, although I'm not too familiar with this map again.
Yeah, it does have a few spaces where it's a few places in the map where its spacing does increase by a little bit. So anyone who's not on point with his aim is going to potentially miss there. It's a bit uncomfortable, those spacing increases. Nonetheless, after that it's a bit standard, but not as standard as, for example, a drum and bass map would be, which is pretty much as standard and as monotonous as you can really get.
So again, this is a chance for Taiwan really to take the point once again. And if they do win this one, they do win the match. So still a lot of pressure on the South Korean side. They still need to win another 4 songs straight. They have done one, but you know, it's definitely not an easy task.
Yeah, I do like this pick mostly because, yeah, and I also like that Angel Sim, for example, isn't there because he does not seem to be feeling too well right now to perform in a tournament setting. Maybe he's not warmed up, maybe he didn't get enough sleep, maybe he's currently in queue for PUBG and is not wanting to play and is just going AFK all the time to play for a short little map. But Enon is coming in, which is a really good hardware player who we didn't see too much of him this match. And seeing Gomo and Young in there, which performed phenomenally so far. Sometimes, even if your team on paper is, for example, really good at no mod, but your no mod players aren't performing, a good choice or a good strategy might be just adjust and pick other mods and try to rely on your other team members, because not everyone can give us 100% every single day.
Oh, early miss by Gomo there and Enon on the South Korean side. Not a good start at all. But still, it is quite a long map and plenty of time for it to go either way.
Oh, it seems like there's some spicy info about this map, or rather its artist in particular. It seems to be that we do have an official artist, which is Baker, and they're with the artist which is of this map, which is Motoloid, and they're in our latest featured artist release. So Kimiga is officially an Oath track.
And of course, for those not too familiar with the featured tracks, they come with pre-timed OWC files, which make them the perfect stepping stone to get into mapping, and often pretty cool songs. With that, of course, Rucker and Neto both with misses, and Shield with a miss as well on the Taiwanese team. While South Korea did have the early misses, the later misses on the Taiwanese team are going to hurt them and possibly push the lead in the South Korea's direction. Rucker with another miss there as well.
Yeah, this map might be a really good choice, mostly because the Taiwanese side did try to... Ooh, that stream was quite spaced, but everyone kept combo. I just saw Core Lazy sacrifice a lot of accuracy for it. But forcing everyone to go hard rock is really difficult to just get into from playing all these other mods in a row. In this case, we do see Taiwan struggling just a little bit more than South Korea. South Korea being used to hardware. I mean, Yang just played a bunch of hardware already. And Taiwan did seem to try to avoid hard rock so far, especially on the free mods.
Ooh, Enon with a miss there. Oh, that could actually push the lead back in Taiwan's favor, possibly. It's going to be very close, though, I'd say.
I think it definitely is going to do so, unless Taiwan is going to answer with another miss.
But it looks like they are focused on holding their combo. Last quarter of the song, though. Oh, Gomo with a miss right there. That is definitely going to hurt South Korea. And I think Taiwan are going to start taking the lead here. Yep, there we go. They are now in the lead. If they can just hold on for the last little bit of the song, they will be able to take this point.
I don't think they really want to miss right now, and they are not going to. There's 100,000 points in difference, and it's ever so increasing, but what else can you really do here as South Korea? And
Just the final part of the song, yep. I don't think anyone's going to be missing here, except Neto, of course. Oh. And it does look like Taiwan have actually taken that point, and that puts them at 6-2. That makes Taiwan the winners of this match, the first match of the week, and that means they will go through to the next round, while South Korea will drop into the losers bracket.
(6-2) by Taiwan. Great performances by Taiwan to pull this one off. A little bit lacking or lackluster on South Korea's side, I'd say. I definitely think they do have the potential and to get out of losers bracket and climb the tournament bracket just a bit further. But they definitely need to get those performances out of the way.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy for South Korea from here on. If they do lose again, they will be kicked out of the tournament. It does give a bit of breathing room for Taiwan, of course, and they will go through next week.
Alright, GG well played to both teams. South Korea is in the losers bracket, so they're not out of the tournament yet. Just once again, to repeat that information, that is vital, because even if you're rooting for South Korea, it's not over yet. But then again, that was the first match of the entire weekend, and the next ones are gonna follow soon, which actually is gonna be in 6 minutes for the next one. And I believe, Bonks, you're gonna commentate the next match, are you?
Yes, I will be here for the next match, and I will be having Probox actually joining me.
Alright, then I'm going to pass the torch over to Probox, who's gonna be here momentarily. But for now, thank you for having me, and good luck and have fun with the matches.
Thank you. Have a nice day or
Goodbye.
evening. See ya.